You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button. Okay, so I think the question that every single LSU fan, for one reason or another, has been asking here over the last several days is, what is the latest with Denver Harris? And I understand why that has been a topic of conversation. He is an interesting figure, a polarizing figure. He is a former 5-star recruit. You know the story. Went to Texas A&M a year ago, was a knucklehead, essentially got run out there, transferred to LSU. And to this point in camp, Denver Harris has been running third team. When the media was allowed to watch on Monday, Denver Harris was not there. He was not there Tuesday or today. After practice today, Brian Kelly met with reporters, and as you might expect, the first question out the chute is, hey, man, what's up with Denver Harris?
Denver is handling some personal matters, and if he takes care of everything, could have him back this weekend.
Okay, so not dismissed from the team, taking care of personal matters. Here's what I'm comfortable saying up until this point, because you hear a lot. You tried to decipher what is valid info, what is good info, what do you hear that you can corroborate from multiple different people, and here's what I'm very comfortable saying: that Denver Harris was sent home. I'm comfortable saying that the coaches sent him home. And as you recall, last week there was a fight at practice. We all saw it. I mean, the media was standing right in front of it. And Denver Harris was involved in it. We talked about the particulars with Harold Perkins and Major Burns and Malik Neighbors and Kyron Lacey and how that scrum happened. And I mentioned Denver Harris was right in the middle of it. He took his helmet off. I don't know why you would ever take your helmet off in the middle of a fight with a bunch of people wearing helmets, but he did. And then something that I was told last week is that the fight did continue in the locker room. I have no particulars beyond that. I don't know how it started, how severe it was, if it was just shoving or yelling. So it's just that all of that happened on the field continued. Do you remember they sent Malik Neighbors and Kyron Lacey into the locker room, and I sat here saying, I can't believe they let Harold Perkins and Major Burns stay at practice because they were right in the middle of it as well. Well, apparently the coaches were fearful of the fight continuing in the locker room. If you send the guys that were fighting off together, maybe that continues. So, in any event, one of the other things that was an important note from the fight last week was Brian Kelly called the team together, and some of the reporters that were there at practice noted they heard Brian Kelly say, and I'm paraphrasing, if you respect your brothers, if you keep this up, keep doing this, you're going to go 500 this season. Implying that it wasn't the first fight. And that's kind of what I've been told, is that there have been multiple instances, and Denver had kind of been mixed up in a lot of it. And so that's where that is right now. They sent him home. Apparently, they're trying to get him sorted out and hopefully get him back soon. My guess, this is where I'll step aside and I will speculate here. My guess is that this is rooted in frustration for Denver Harris. This is a guy that everybody knows was a 5-star when he came out of high school. He is a very talented guy and went to A&M. Was a bit of a knucklehead. Was limited last year because of the off-the-field issues, and then comes to LSU and is running third team. They weren't handing him anything. So he's running third team, and y'all, I've been asked this question a good bit. Was Denver Harris running third team because they're trying to teach him a lesson, or was it that he just wasn't playing well? Y'all, maybe it started as Denver Harris was running third team because they weren't going to hand him anything. They were going to make him earn it. But I went back and looked at my notes from every practice so far, and I didn't chart a win for Denver Harris in one-on-one, 7-on-7s, any of that stuff. The first day of practice, Shelton Sampson indoors ran a go route and he dusted Denver Harris by 5 or 6 yards. The day of the fight, last Monday, when they were running one-on-ones, corner against wide receiver, Kyron Lacey beat Denver Harris on a deep ball. That was the day, if you remember, where I charted 22 reps, cornerback against receiver, and the receivers won 20 of the 22 reps. So, yeah, I think a lot of it, again, this is me speculating, I think a lot of this is rooted in frustration because the offense was having so much success against the defense. Denver Harris, who has high expectations, was not performing well. It was running third team. Tempers flare, and I think that's where a lot of this started, okay? But I want to remind you of this. Back in the spring, Brian Kelly, when they had brought Denver Harris here, was asked about that decision to bring Denver Harris to LSU, given the checkered off-field instances in College Station. This is what Brian Kelly said in the spring about Denver Harris.
This was not a decision that we just said, here's a great player. He had to fit. We felt like, we did our due diligence in terms of his background. And we felt with the culture in which we have put together here that he would make it here because the culture is really strong. And it's proven to be that he's done well early on, and he has no choice. He has to make it.
He has no choice. He has to make it. He has no choice. He has to make it. What Brian Kelly's telling you is, look, Denver Harris already used his one-time transfer. If he leaves LSU, he's going JUCO or FCS level. He wants to play at this level, he's got to fall in line and make it here. That's what Brian Kelly was saying right there. And they haven't even gotten to the first playing date, and there's already issues. Now, I'll tell you this, and I'll say this. Ask yourself this question. If Denver Harris hadn't been a 5-star coming out of high school, would you care? Would you care? That's one of these instances of the recruiting rankings probably doing this kid a disservice because there's heightened awareness and people care more because he was a 5-star, although up until this point in his college career, he hasn't played to that. Up until this point in camp, Deuce Chestnut and Zy Alexander are undeniably your best cornerbacks. I don't care that one of them was at Syracuse and one of them was at Southeastern. Those two guys, up until this point, which we have all seen, I'm not guessing, I'm not speculating, I'm not telling you what I heard, I'm telling you my eyeballs have been out there at every practice but one, and your two best cornerbacks are Chestnut and Alexander, and it ain't close. Your next two are LaTerrence Welch, a sophomore, and Ashton Stamps, a true freshman who did not have a national ranking when he signed with LSU in November. Because J.K. Johnson is injured and Denver Harris is not with the program, your only other scholarship cornerbacks are true freshmen Jeremiah Hughes and Ryan Robinson. So if you're following me, your healthy available cornerback room today is 2 transfers, a true sophomore, and 3 true freshmen. The Denver Harris situation affects you not because you're missing out on a great player who's massively impactful and was going to have a key role against Florida State. It's your depth is thin right now with no Denver Harris and no J.K. Johnson. That's the bigger thing. If you're focusing on this because, man, he's the most talented guy, this or that, I don't care if he can run fast and jump high. What I'm telling you is eyeballs, the dude has not won a job, hasn't even come close to it so far what we've seen. So I'm not worried about it from that standpoint. You want to talk about projectability, if the light bulb comes on, sure, if. But the bigger thing for LSU today is depth at cornerback. Because, I'll say it again, transfer from Syracuse, transfer from Southeastern, a sophomore in LaTerrence Welch, and 3 true freshmen. That's your healthy available cornerback room right now. That's your problem. All right, if Denver Harris is back with LSU by this weekend, we'll certainly let you know when we have our next availability. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.